Good morning, guys. We're going to get started probably in about 30 seconds because the classes this week, when it comes to Zoom, they're currently an hour. They're typically sometimes 90 minutes, which gives us enough time to kind of make it a little bit hands-on. Because it is an hour, what I ask that you guys do is just watch during the session. This is being recorded. I will send you guys a copy of today's recording by the end of today. That way, later on, you can fast forward, rewind, and replicate a lot of the different searches that we're going to do. Okay, so again, what I ask that you guys do for now is just watch. Reason being is I'm going to add a couple of bonuses that we don't normally put into this session. Just that way you can maximize marketing a rental listing whenever you're working directly with a landlord, and also options if you're new to real estate, how you can go into a couple of different product and services that we offer in order to find absentee homeowners to try to see if they want to rent out their units. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started, guys. Again, welcome to the rental marketing series. We're going to go ahead and get started. And first, what we're going to cover is when we're working directly with a landlord, I want to make sure you guys know all of the amazing marketing pieces that we have created directly for you. If you're ever working with a landlord or a property owner and they want to know where all of their rental listings go. And after that, I want to make sure you guys know that we create statistical reports on our website where you can locate and find how our rental market is performing here in South Florida. First up is if you're ever working with a owner of a property and you're going to put their property into the MLS as a rental. If you go here under services, we have created for you co-branded marketing materials that can help you try to get that listing agreement signed with that property owner so you can list their unit in the MLS. And also, if they ask you a question where their listings go, you can find resources located here just for that. Okay. So under co-branded, when it comes to rentals, we have some amazing flyers located here on the right where it says Miami Rentals and Leases. I'm going to go ahead and put this exact link in the chat so everyone has access to it. Okay, so if you have that property owner, you're listing their rental in the MLS, and they ask you, what is the websites that you syndicate listings to for me as the owner? You can go right here where you see Miami Rentals and Leases, and this is going to show them the primary websites that we automatically send rental listings to, including apartments.com, apartments.com within the application, within the phone app, Apartment List, Beacon Council, Brevitas, as well as the City of Doral. For commercial listings, we also have Commercial Cafe, commercialsearch.com, Crexy, the Facebook Marketplace, Florida Living Network, Global Property Exchange, which if you're not familiar with that, you can go to miamirealtors.com/global. We do have associations all over the world that does feature our listings. All right. If you want to learn more about global, we actually have a class for that. It's called Unlocking Global. All right. And there is some additional websites such as homes.com, rent.com, rentalbeast, rentberry.com, and much, much more that we automatically send rental listings to. Okay, the reason why this section is called co-branded is that we created these flyers, and what we want you to do is utilize the top right corner where you can add your business card or your name, your brokerage's information, so it becomes your marketing piece. Okay, now currently speaking, you would be able to use this flyer specifically if you have software like Adobe Acrobat, as well as Adobe Premiere as well. Or as we kind of did back in the 90s, some of us may remember, you can download these exact flyers, print them out. You can even use a scanner and then put your business card there in the top right corner, email it to yourself. That becomes a PDF version of this flyer, and it looks like you completely put it together. Okay. Okay. Also inside of the services co-branded marketing materials section, besides this flyer, I also want to make sure that you guys know a little bit further down, if you ever want to use our logos, Miami Realtors logos, including the Realtor logo, maybe use Canva in order to create for sale flyers or rental flyers. Right here where you see downloadable logos, this is going to show you all of our Miami logos, including commercial logos, commercial specifically for residential agents, members of the board that are also global agents located here. And on the right, I want to make sure I mention that we have the Realtor logo as well located on this page. And for my commercial agents, a little bit further down, we also have that red logo over here for Realtor colored in red. Okay. Now, if you do use services like Adobe, Acrobat, Canva, things like that, these images, what you want to make sure that you use is the .png version of these flyers. What that's going to allow you to do is once you download them and put them in services like Canva or any photo software, what it will do is remove the background of the image. That way you can put it as a part of your overall marketing scheme. All right. So again, I just put the link in the chat, Priscilla. Just look a little bit above where it says the co-branded marketing materials. All right. Okay. So outside of all of these amazing marketing materials that we have inside of the MLS, another thing that is crucial for you to know about is we have statistical data for South Florida when it comes to how we're performing in the residential market, including what is for sale and what's for rent, as well as insight on how we're performing when it comes to commercial as well. So if you hover your mouse at the very top of the website where it says news and stats, if you hover your mouse over stats, there's a section that sometimes we don't always see where it says economic insights. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this in a chat so everyone has access to this link also. All right, and what I wanted to show you is just a drip in the pond of all of the amazing statistical reports that we receive directly from our chief economist here, Gay Coraton. Okay, what I want to feature real quick is her most recent notification when it comes to Miami's rental market. We're just going to open this up real quick. And guys, I also want to make sure I mention that anything inside of these reports, you are more than welcome to use them on Instagram, Facebook. All that we ask that you do is say courtesy of or provided originally from the Miami Association of Realtors. So we have the latest market report available as of February 2026. We can access that report. I'm going to go ahead and put it into chat so everyone has it here. All right. And as we go down, it's not just letting us know how we are performing when it comes to the rental market here in South Florida, but it also compares how we are doing in the United States in different areas. Okay. So right here on this form, it's going to mention the vacancy rates as of February. All right. So it's going to start with the least vacant areas of the United States to the more higher amount of vacancy as we go down. So it does look like the least vacant area at this time is San Francisco, Oakland area in Berkeley, inside of California. All right. But if we move down a little bit inside of this guide, we move down, we do have some areas of Florida showing up, including the Tampa, St. Petersburg area. Looks like there's a vacancy, meaning owner property where there's not a renter inside of them. We're looking at 8.7% in that area. All right. Also for Miami, we're looking at a 6.5% when it comes to the amount of vacant units here in the South Florida market. Okay, one thing that I want to fit in today, and the reason why I want you guys to save your questions for towards the end of class, I'm going to fit in a section of today's class where you can go into services like IMAP, where we can find these units that are unoccupied, meaning the owner does not live there, and there's no indication of anyone paying the utilities. What we might be able to do with that specific search is help that homeowner locate a renter so that they can turn it into an income producing property. All right, over here on the right, we also have data when it comes to multifamily, including the percentage in the overall change in each market when it comes to rental prices. All right, and as we can see for the Miami metro area, we're only looking at a slight change at 0.6%. Okay, there's other great information that you guys have access to inside of this report for the Miami area, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm, and Port St. Lucie area, and letting us know if we're seeing a change compared to right now versus where we were a year ago. This does include statistical data on the amount of renewals, tenants staying for another year, percentage of units offering concessions, the overall occupancy rate for the Miami metro area, the overall absorption rate when it comes to rentals. Amazing information for me to know as I become a rental agent whenever I'm working with that homeowner or that potential tenant. Okay. All right. So, one more time, where can you find these? You can find all of these reports by going to News and Stats, hovering your mouse over Stats, and clicking on Economic Insights. Okay. All right. Next up, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the main page. We're going to go to the home menu. All right. We're going to go into the gateway. And first, what I want to teach you guys how to do is prospect and find listings where the agent is saying it's okay to advertise, and how we can create that list, save that list, and then each month create different opportunities for us to advertise listings to procure possibly a tenant so that we can help them move into that property. Okay, so we're going to first go into the core logic matrix system. Okay, once we go into the core logic matrix system, we're going to hover our mouse here where it says search. Okay, we're going to go into the section residential rental. Okay, under residential rental, we have a lot of different types of properties that we might be able to use in order to create maybe a Facebook advertisement to try to secure a tenant. Okay, so we're going to go right there where you see RNT Res Rental. All right, and what we're going to focus on is just the active and available units. We're going to turn off coming soon, and we're going to turn off active with contract. Okay. All right. Now, what we're going to do is we're first going to look at the styles. I want to make sure you guys understand all of the different styles and the different prospective tenants that could fall under each category. Okay, so the very first two that we have access to deals directly with single family homes. So right here where I see R60, this would allow me if I want to advertise a rental listing. My idea would be to create a post focusing on potentially families, 3 or 4 potential individuals, maybe moving in to a property where they want to stay there for a minimum of a year. If I'm looking for maybe a couple, right? Or maybe a small group of individuals that want to move into a single family home, maybe seasonally, maybe for example, as I call them, snowbirds that come down here during the winter. We also have the ability to advertise using single family seasonal. Now, that might show us individual single family homes that are in rental areas using that option. Just want to inspire you on the different types of customers we might be able to find. All right, next one is condo. All right, that could be, when it comes to condos, That could be a family as an option. That could be a couple as well, just a couple of individuals looking to move in to that property for rent. So right here we have the ability to find annual rentals as well as seasonal rentals when it comes to condos. All right. And then when I go down, we also have apartments that we can locate in the MLS that are available annually or also seasonally. All right, I get this question all the time. What is the difference between condos and apartments? Typically, the difference between condos and apartments is ownership. So, for example, condos are typically individually owned, as to where apartments are usually in a management area where all of the apartment units are owned by the same person or potentially under this and same LLC using that option. Okay. All right. As we go down, we also have apartments available seasonally. All right. And then we have R66 and R67, which is for duplexes, meaning 2 units, triplexes, as well as quadplexes that are either available annually or seasonally. Okay, as we go down, we have other prospects available, including townhomes or giant townhomes not attached to other townhomes called villa property that are available annually as well as seasonally. Okay, if I'm working with or trying to find a tenant that needs maybe a 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, or maybe just an efficiency unit, or a studio unit, or a hotel room, we can create an advertisement as well using R72, meaning they need to move there for a minimum of 12 months. And we also have those short term, maybe college students, maybe people relocating here short term with the option seasonal. Okay. A little bit further down, there is some additional options called off season. So off season typically means, for example, if I'm looking at R80, it means that that single family community where all of the units are available for rent, it means that there's a higher amount of vacancy. Okay. Also known as off season. That could be based around the time where we have a lot of the folks from up north when they come down here when it gets cold. All right. And then when they go back, right around right now, as a matter of fact, April is typically or right around the time where a lot of those snowbirds, as well as the folks out of Ontario, Canada, when they go back up north, off season just simply means that there's going to be more units available inside of that single family community, condo building, or apartment area. And likely the rental price might be a little cheaper due to the fact there's a lot more units available. Okay, we also have some additional off-season options for duplexes, triplexes, and quadplexes, as well as townhomes, villas, efficiency studios, and also hotel rooms. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to clear. We're going to add active back. And then what we're going to do is we're going to locate individual listings where the agent is saying it's okay to advertise. All right, perfect. For this example, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to use a single family home to advertise. So we're going to use type of property. We're going to move down. We're going to click on single. All right. We're going to look for a unit that does have a pool as well. All right. And then the goal is for us to find a tenant interested in a single family home where it's available 12 months minimum. All right. So far, we have 953 listings. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to look in a couple of different areas. We're going to come here under city. We're going to put Pembroke Pines, comma. Let's add the Hollywood area. All right, let's add Coral Gables just to mix this up a little bit. All right, and let's see what we can get for single family homes in Aventura as well. Okay, now when I add all these cities, we so far have 86 matches. All right, in order to turn this into a prospective search so that we can find listings where the agent But most importantly, the broker is saying it's okay to advertise. We're going to move down here where you see additional fields. We're going to click on add, and then we're going to search and add the field okay to advertise. Okay. All right. All right. When I add that field, it presents four different options that I want to make sure we're crystal clear on. Okay. So if I click on no, there is 51 listings where the broker is saying, no, it's not okay to advertise. And when the agent put this listing into the MLS, they're also saying no as well. Okay. A little bit further down, we have another option where it says with written broker approval. There's 17 of these where the broker wants us to email them so that we can make it clear how we're going to advertise it, where we're going to advertise it, and how long we're going to advertise it. They want to know where that advertisement that we create to help them secure a tenant, where it's going to go. So when it comes with this option, what you want to do is access either Form Simplicity, Dot Loop, Transaction Desk, or go directly to miamirealtors.com/MLS. Inside of this section, there is a form you could use to email the broker to see if it's okay to advertise. The name of that form is this one, written permission to advertise. Okay, just to give you guys a little tactic. Most agents use these two. Okay. Some agents don't like that extra step where they have to ask the broker if it's okay to advertise. But let me tell you something. Agents that go that extra mile and get the okay using this filter, you might be creating an exclusive advertisement, for example, on Facebook or Instagram that no one else is. Okay, so this form, if we want to pursue and see if it's okay to advertise, we complete the top part. We put our office's information, our email, phone number, date, the listing number we're interested in advertising, when we're going to start, when we're going to stop advertising, and a good ending date, just to let you know, would be if it goes under contract. So if you do select any listing that you want to advertise, and you put under ending once it goes under contract, you do have one very important job. You need to check every single day to see if that property goes under contract so that you can delete that advertisement. And then this is where we are letting that broker know how we're going to advertise. Are we going to create a flyer? Are we going to create a mailer? Are we going to go ahead and maybe go into a service like Craigslist in order to let individual tenants know that the unit's available? Okay. And then when the broker says yes and they fill out this bottom part, we have one more thing to pay attention to where it says attribution required. If the broker says yes, it means you can advertise, but you have to make sure to mention inside of that advertisement the name of that brokerage. If they put no, it means you can advertise and you don't have to mention the name of their brokerage. You don't have to say something like courtesy of, listed by, things like that. For Coldwell Banker, you don't have to make any mention of that. Okay. All right. Now, the other two options we are going to use in today's session, we do have yes, attribution not required, which means I can advertise a company's listing and I don't have to mention the name of that brokerage when I do so. We have another option which says yes, attribution required, which again means I can advertise, but I have to make sure I mention the name of the brokerage that listed it when I create that advertisement. Okay, for now, we're going to use both yes options. All right. And then we're going to find a listing. We're going to set up a grid and save the search so we can come back maybe next month in order to create some additional advertisements to secure tenants. So we're going to go right here where you see results. Okay. All right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to build first a grid that we can save so we can come back each and every month to continue promoting rental listings. Okay, so I'm going to come right up here where you see address. I'm going to insert the column. We're going to go ahead and add first the city names so we know exactly where these units are located. All right. And then what we're also going to do is we're going to add the original price as well, right next to the current asking price. So right here's the current asking price, and then over here we have the original price, just to get a good understanding of pricing when it comes to all of these different areas, or if we're seeing a decrease in demand or maybe a higher increase in demand when it comes to asking rental prices. All right, the other thing that we're going to do is we're going to come over here to ML number. We're going to insert the field OK2 advertise. All right, that way I can see from a bird's eye view so that I don't have to click on each one of these listings. This is just going to give me directly from a bird's eye view. If I do have to mention the name of that brokerage, if it does say attribution required, versus if I don't have to, if it says attribution not required. All right. Another thing that we're going to do is we're going to move over to ML number. We're going to insert. It's good to know also the approval information. Some of these might be specifically in associations. All right, so if there is approval or an application required, we have that here from a bird's eye view. Okay, what we're going to do first is we're going to save this as a display so that later on, if I want to continue creating advertisements in the public space, I can come back to this display and then pull up my OK to advertise rental grid. So again, we're going to click on the pen and paper. All right. And then we're going to name this our OK to advertise rental grid, and then save it here as a copy. Okay, but all that does, I want to be very clear, when I save my display, what this does is it saves the grid, but it doesn't save this search if I want to come back to it later. Okay, so next, I want to teach you where we can save this search. I'm going to click the square here at the very top, and then we're going to move down all the way down to the bottom where you see save, and then we're going to click on new saved search. All right. We're going to go ahead and call this in specific the Aventura, Coral Gables, Hollywood, as well as Pembroke Pines. Yes. Okay to advertise listings. All right. And if I want to come back to this list and have it in my dashboard, maybe next month, maybe I want to continue to find individual tenants so that I can advertise listings. There's a button right here where you see enable as favorite search. If you click that, what that will allow you to do is save this exact search in your matrix dashboard. You can have up to 10 of them. Okay. If you have maxed out all 10 here under your dashboard, you would need to disable any previous search that you've done. Okay. All right. Perfect, perfect, perfect. You would just go here under settings. You would disable any of your old favorited searches through your tabs. That will remove it. That way, if you've created a new search, you can go right back into the settings and then save it so that it appears here under your my favorite searches. You can have up to 10 of them that you can quickly jump directly into. Okay. All right. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go right back under my matrix. We did save this search. So I'm going to go back under my saved searches. I'm going to quickly find it by clicking my last run. All right. And then perfect. We have that search right here that I can pull up, and then I can quickly go through the photos and find that individual listing that I want to advertise. Okay, now, couple of advantages inside of your dashboard that you may not know about that I want you guys to know about. So I have this unit, 5309 in Jefferson Street. Current asking price for this unit on a monthly basis is 2,400. If you did not know, when you're inside of your dashboard, there is a little money sign. What this does, if you click on it, it's going to put you directly into the public record that Relist has compiled for this property. And Relist, for any property on the market or off of the market, there's a really cool feature called the rental trends. And what this will do is give you, for that particular area, that zip code, it will give you a general understanding of rental prices there. So it's letting me know for this exact zip code, the range in rental prices is 2,970. It is giving me an estimated value on how much this unit could potentially rent out for at 3,515. And then it also gives me the maximum, how much the rent would be inside of that area. Okay, so again, whenever you are inside of your dashboard, whenever you're looking at your list of results, please take advantage of that money sign. Okay, next, what we're going to do is we're going to locate a listing here in order to advertise it. All right, perfect. We're going to go ahead and use this one right here as our demonstration. Okay, now, my go-to service when it comes to advertising listings is inside of your resource panels. You would want to take advantage of this platform here where it says Agent 3000. Okay, so in Agent 3000, what I first want to show you is in the event you want to advertise another brokerage's listing and you want to maybe put it into Facebook, you have the ability here, as soon as you sign into Agent 3000, there's a beautiful section called Single Property Website, which can create a call to action, letting potential tenants in the area know that there's a rental property available. But before you create that single property website that you can put on Facebook, Craigslist, or other websites, before you generate anything in this platform, you first want to visit over here on the right where it says settings. Settings is where you want to confirm ahead of time that you have your name plus any designations or certifications set up. And if I create that call to action and that potential tenant that finds my advertisement, if they want to call me, I want to make sure I put my direct phone number, my email address, as well as my website. Okay, link. Once you update your account settings, click on Save Account Profile. And then make sure if you do have a brokerage logo or an agent logo that you can put into this marketing. Go here where you see choose file. What that's going to do is put you directly inside of your computer so that you can upload your logo as well as your agent photo. Once that's done and you've saved all of your information, you're now ready to potentially advertise a listing. Okay, so what we're going to cover first is we're going to move down here where you see single property websites. And if I decided to use Matrix to find listings where the broker says it was okay to advertise, I can copy the listing number. I can copy that listing number and then I can post it here inside of Agent 3000. What that's going to allow me to do is generate that call to action so that we can post, for this example, that this unit's available for rent specifically on Facebook. Okay, so we have a little bit of an acknowledgement that's coming up here directly from Ingrid Cento de Soto at eXp Realty. It's just a reminder directly from Agent 3000. Did you get the okay to advertise this listing? Yes, we did, directly from the MLS through the filter. So we got the okay from the broker as well as the agent that put this listing inside of the MLS. So I'm going to go ahead and click on accept terms, and then I'm going to click on I agree. Okay, now in order to create that call to action to post on Facebook to try to encourage a tenant, we have different templates here that we can use absolutely for free. My personal favorite is template 3. Reason being is if I post this advertisement on Facebook, it's going to be a lot more mobile friendly. I find that template 3 is great for anyone using a computer as well as anyone using specifically a phone or maybe a tablet. Okay, but there's two different ways to create that call to action. We have one that says view website with address. So if I create that landing page with all of the listing details, if I click on this option, the address is going to be included. If I click on this option where it says view website with no address, what that means is not only am I creating a call to action, but I'm encouraging that tenant, if they click on that link and they like that property, they're interested in it, they're not going to be able to see the address. They may ask that next question. It may make them and encourage them to register and ask me, hey, I'm looking to move to Hollywood, Florida. That's not a bad rental price. All right, can you give me more information? Or maybe they ask you, hey, I want to go and see that unit. So this is the call to action with our contact information. That prospect, if they click on this link, they can provide us with their name, phone number, email. This page is interactive where they can see the overall description of the unit, all of the features, including the lot size, bedrooms and bathrooms, or if pets are even allowed, if there's a private pool, exterior features, a glossary view of all of the photos of the unit, including if they want to request to see it. They're only going to see my information here on this page. So at the very bottom, if they go through everything and they like the property, they can request directly to us. We get this lead. They can let us know when they're looking to see that unit. Okay. All right. A little bit further down, if you, for example, create an advertisement for a property for sale, we also have a mortgage calculator inside of this page, and then one more chance for that potential tenant to provide me with their information. Okay, next, how do I post this onto Facebook in order to encourage tenants? Okay, now, yes, you have the links located here on this page, but when you open the link, I find that this version of the link formats a lot better in Facebook. Okay, so when we create advertisements, we would want to, if we're using Facebook, we want to use our Facebook business page. Okay, all right. So this is going to be a demonstration on how to make that post. All right. So I'm going to go right over here. I'm going to put the link. All right. What that does is it puts that individual listing right here. And if I want to mention anything before I post it, such as beautiful single family home with pool available for rent, contact me for showings just like so. And then when I'm ready, again, anyone that clicks on this link, once I post it directly to my Facebook business page and they open it, what that's going to do is create that call to action where they can request to see that unit or jump around inside of that page. Okay. Now, the other thing I want to cover inside of Agent 3000 is when we do have a rental listing. Okay. There's a really cool option. If I have a up and coming open house as an example, there is a section here inside of Agent 3000 where If I am working directly with a landlord or a property owner, maybe they're absentee owners, I'm listing their unit for rent. All right. And I want to capture, again, this is from the listing agent's perspective this time. And I want to capture all of those individual tenants as they come in to see the unit. You have the ability to create an open house page. Okay. So I'm going to pretend that this was my listing, just real quick. All right. I have an open house up and coming as an example this weekend. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that in here. All right. And then here's what I want you guys to consider. You can email this if you know that tenants are going to go. Maybe you've received leads from tenants that want to see this unit. Okay, you can email this registration directly to them so you can figure out if they're being represented or not by an agent. Or another idea, if you're comfortable, when we generate this open house registration, you can also use it on your tablet device as well as individuals come in to see the property. That's if you would like to. Okay, so again, I'm pretending I have a listing. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to say that we're going to put the open house for Saturday the 11th. All right, we're going to select a color for this page. We'll use light, and then we're going to capture as much information from that different individuals coming to see the property, including if they're not being represented. We're going to ask for first name, last name, email address. We can also ask for their phone number if they're working with another agent, so I can follow up with them after the showing. We also have some additional electives such as where did you hear about this open house and how soon are you looking to purchase? That's if they're looking to buy. Okay. So as we go down, we can double check our information here. All right. We have a dynamic link for this open house page that we're creating. And if I do want to send an email directly to any tenants or agents representing tenants that are going to see my property, I have the ability here to generate that email. So I'm going to say, please register prior to showing or arriving to see this unit. And then I can customize this entire email subject here, as well as the entire body of the email. So I'm going to go ahead and put, we can't wait to see you during this weekend's open house. If you want to see more photos of the unit, click here. Okay, we have all of our information that autofills directly from what we supplied under the settings. Okay, so if I do want to create an email to send to tenants or agents representing tenants, I save it. All right. Okay, perfect. Here, I think I forgot one thing. We did select the theme color. All right, and then I'm going to feature a photo. That's one thing I forgot to do. All right, so we're going to feature the backyard with the pool. All right, and then when I click on save, okay, there's two different ways to use this open house registration. The email link means that I already have an email of a tenant that I can send so they can register. Or if it's an agent representing a tenant and I want to send it directly to the agent, I could plug their email here. Or if I want to have this on my tablet available as individual prospects or tenants being represented show up and I want them to register, I can have this page open on my tablet and then I can capture potential leads as they come in. So we can ask them for their first name, last name, email, phone number. Are you working with a realtor? How soon are you looking to purchase? As well as how did you hear about my open house? That's going to help me know if my marketing on Facebook is working, Instagram is working, or other third party means. Okay, not only does this registration, ask that potential tenant questions. But over here on the right, there's also a QR code. If they have their phone there, maybe they're looking at it from a tablet, they can look at how the property looks directly from their phone using this QR code. Okay, so that was a little bit of a bonus, guys. I just wanted to make sure that I fit that in. These are exceptional options in order to advertise a listing, in order to find a tenant, but also so that we can, when we get that listing, be able to handle all registrations. Okay, all right. Perfect. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go directly into IMAP. This is going to be a little bit of a bonus. I don't think we've covered this in previous classes, so I want to cover this real quick. We're going to go into IMAP. All right. And what we're going to do is we're going to look for units where the owner's not occupying the property. And they're potentially vacant as well. So the mindset with this next search is to possibly contact the individual property owner and see if they want to rent it out. We're also going to not only find units that are unoccupied, but we're also going to figure out if they're paying a mortgage on that unit as well, meaning if there's any equity on that unit. Why I say that is if they're an absentee owner and they don't have a renter there and it's on a mortgage, they're paying that mortgage, but they don't have a tenant facilitating or maybe helping pay that mortgage off because it's vacant. Okay, so we're going to go specifically first into IMAP. All right, we're going to do this a little quick because as I mentioned, this is a little bit of a bonus. All right, and we do this here under the tax search section. Okay. All right. Under the tax search section, what we're going to do is we're going to look, let's say, in the Doral area, inside of the Doral area. Okay. So under tax search, there is two different ways to search. When you're wanting to search by location, that includes the zip code, or you can search also by the name of the city. So I'm going to switch that real quick to property city. Starts with, and then I'm going to put Doral. Okay. From there, we're going to use municipal code. We're going to come down here to where it says property use code. And then we're going to look at single family homes and condominiums. But if you're looking at my screen right now, where you see 00, that does not mean vacant single family homes. 00 means vacant land. Okay. So we're going to use single family homes as well as condominiums inside of the Doral area. Okay, we're going to go to year built and then we're going to click on unoccupied address and then we're going to use yes. Okay, all right, should mean that there's no one on the utility. Okay, what we're going to do next is we're going to go to owner name because again, it's going to be right next to the field I need where it says owner occupied. We're going to use owner occupied equal to, and we're going to put no, meaning the owner does not live there. Okay. Another thing that we're going to try to find, Doral can be a little bit of a cash market, but we're going to add equity ratio as well within the search to try to find vacant units, owner owns the unit, and they're also on a mortgage. Okay, so we're going to find units where using less than or equal to, where they have less than 60% equity on the unit. Okay, excellent. We're going to move over here to the right, click on Start Search, and inside of the Doral area for single family units and for condos, we're going to have some units. It looks like it's running that search and trying to find individual properties. So we're just going to give it a moment. And inside of IMAP, there is a total of 19 unoccupied units where the owner is absentee and the owner has a mortgage out on these properties. So we're going to look at number 2 right here, 8438 Northwest 109th Court in Doral, Florida, 33178. Current owner is Michael Hartman. All right. And then when I access the details, it's going to tell me the exact property type. So this is a townhome, as we can see. This owner is based out of Katy, Texas, so they're not local. All right. And when they bought this unit, it is letting me know that they've established equity on this unit at 21%. And no one potentially lives there. So I could contact these owners and let them know, hey, if you're looking to turn this unit maybe into a rental, I can list this unit in the MLS for you so that we can try to find a tenant. Okay, so real quick, we're going to go back. We're going to click on modify criteria. What that does is it puts me back into my search and it shows me all of those filters that we used. Okay. I also recommend as you run your searches to save your searches. That way, later on, if you want to add a different area, you can. So if you want to go from Doral, maybe to Miami Beach, maybe to a different area, you can essentially copy this search. So I'm going to go to save search. We're going to call this Doral unoccupied units. Owner has 60% or less equity. And then save that search, guys. Okay. All right. So we may need to go over about 5 minutes if that's okay with you guys. Again, some of what I'm showing you is a little bit of a bonus. All right. But let me jump into chat real quick and see what you guys are saying. Okay, Chantel, would you mind inserting okay to advertise with attribution one more time? Chantel, forgive me. The reason why I'm not coming in the chat is I only have an hour, so I don't
No,
have
no,
that
no,
much
it's
time.
okay.
Forgive
It's
me, forgive
okay.
me.
I saw how
Questions,
you,
if you can save those towards the end of class, this is being recorded. You're going to make my life a lot easier when I edit. Uh, just follow up with me via email. Okay? All right. Thank you. And let me go down real quick. The Damie, I didn't understand that the open house and the tenants. Okay. And then does it inform you that they are on the do not call list? So when it comes to, let me answer your question. So that is a good question, Chantel. So inside of IMAP, it's not going to tell me if their telephone number is on the do not call list or not. That is a good question. What you would want to use is services like Remind. Remind. Okay. Remind will typically give me their cell phone number. So if I take the address of that unit here and then I put it inside of the search in Remind, Remind is also a public record system. So I can go directly to the property details. Again, IMAP won't give me their contact information, but Remind might have their contact information and it might tell me if they're on the do not call list. So if I go here, owners and associated people, if I move down, this one's an LLC, but if it was an individual owner, this is the section inside of each property record in Remind where I can see if their contact information is available. Okay, guys. All right, now we're going to speed up a little bit because as I mentioned, I've added a couple of bonuses for today's session. What we're going to do next is we're going to pretend just real quick that we want to target, we're going to change this up a little bit, that we want to target unoccupied properties, okay, where the owner doesn't live there, maybe in our neighborhood where we live in order to create marketing. So if you add the off-market filter, again, what that means is those individual property owners are not working with another agent. So if I come here, I put my address, I can actually start searching and creating campaigns in my local market. Okay. Now, when I put in my address and I find it, what I would want to do is click on the show on map button. All right. And then what that's going to allow me to do is look for the units using occupancy status, the units in my area where the owner doesn't live there, including absentee in state, absentee out of state. All right. And then from there, once I select those options, I know that the homeowner doesn't live there. I do have the ability to move here on the right, just hitting the minus button. That's going to allow me to get outside of that area. And if I want to create a marketing campaign, maybe using direct mailers in this area, I can select my community area just like so. And then I can save these properties here directly to a cart. All right, so we're going to call this my community unoccupied units right there. And then I can save that directly to my cart. Okay, my carts, once I save them, they're over here on the left. Okay, all right, another really cool thing that you can do inside of Remind is, especially when it comes to rentals, is if you ever want to track buildings, I'm going to go ahead and clear all filters to start all over. I'm going to add the off market button. If you ever want to find all of the individual units inside of a building, for example, you can put the name of the building or the address of the building. So for this example, I'm going to go ahead and plug in 50 Biscayne. All right, and then what that will do is if I move down here under neighborhoods and I locate the name of that building, I can apply and look at all of the units there and I can get overall building details loaded. So I have it for the 50 Biscayne building. It's going to let me know the amount of absentee owners, the amount of studio units, the amount of units that are one bedroom, the amount of units that are two bedrooms, three bedrooms, five bedrooms, as well as the amount of listings inside of that building that are under contract, that are still active, that have closed, how many units that were closed outside of the MLS, the average asking price for sale, including also the average price per square foot and the average rental price and how long properties are staying on the market, for example, inside of that building. Okay, guys, last but not least, we're going to do one more search. This next search is where we can find absentee owners and we can find potential renters to help them maybe move to their next location for rent or where we might be able to convert them directly to buyers. Okay, if you did not take my Rental Beast class yesterday, if you access Rental Beast, there is an amazing set of videos that goes hand in hand with the search that I'm about to show you. Inside of Rental Beast, they have an education section. All right. And when you click on Start Learning and you want to potentially try to convert renters to buyers or even have more comfortable ways of approaching renters to try to help them move, there is 3 outstanding videos here where it says convert renters to buyers, including why renters are potential buyers and how to identify them. We have another video, how to begin a renter to buyer conversation and handle objections, and another amazing video, creating an outreach plan for clients who decide to rent. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to find these absentee owner property next, and then we're going to export them and check the export to see if the associated people that live there have a different name. That could mean on the utility bills that there's someone else living there. Okay, for this example, we're going to look in another community, this time in Broward. We're going to go to the Silver Lakes area, which is a large community specifically in Broward. All right, we're going to look inside of that area. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go to occupancy status once again, absentee in state, absentee out of state. All right, and then apply, and then that's going to give me 212 units where the owner doesn't live there. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to export all 212 of these units, and then we're going to put them directly into a cart. We're going to put absentee owners in Silver Lakes to locate renters. Okay, I'm going to click on the gray button where it says create absentee owners in Silver Lakes. And then I'm going to add those 212 properties directly to my cart. And then in order to try to find those renters, we're going to go here to the left after we save it. We're going to click on cart. All right. And then we're going to export all of these properties. We're going to go to export here. All right. And then first, we're going to name it Silver Lakes Possible Renters. Make it a little shorthand. All right. And then from there, we're going to select all of the fields that will benefit us understanding this property. The one that we need absolutely is associated people. So we're going to click that one. We're also going to see the equity on each unit. All right. The mailing address of the owner, just in case maybe I want to send them a mailer. Mortgage age. A little bit further down, mortgage loan balance, occupancy status, the owner's information so I can compare that to who lives there. I'm going to explain what that looks like in a moment. The property address, sell score, just in case maybe the owner's thinking about selling it. Stories, if it's a one-story or two-story unit. The name of the community, aka subdivision, as well as when the units were built. Okay, now when you make these selections, to make those your permanent selections, so you don't have to click on those again, you're going to click on the button here that says make these my default export settings. From there, I click on export. And then what that does is it will, over time, within a couple of minutes, create that export where I can try to see if a potential tenant is living inside of those units. Okay, if you get impatient like me, you can refresh the page, and sometimes refreshing the page will make the download happen quicker, just like this. But if it disappears, this menu stays around for 30 seconds. It'll disappear. But if you want to pull it up again, all of your saved exports show up here under alerts. You click on download. And then this is where I can check that Excel spreadsheet in order to figure out if the unit is occupied by a renter. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open that up real quick. The file. All right, it looks just like this. Okay, guys, the other thing I want to teach you is if you want to send a mailer, we're almost done. If you want to send a mailer using the Remind system, you can select all of those units. There is a way right here to click on send mailers, and then you can use two different options. There is the handwritten card option, and then another option using PCM digital as well. For this one, we'll use the handwritten one. Just to demonstrate that just real quick, you'll need an account to register. All right. I'm going to go ahead and show the PCM digital because I haven't registered for ink just yet. So I'm going to come back real quick to PCM digital. All right. And then I'm going to create my campaign. This is if I want to send a mailer to these individual units where there could be renters. All right. So I'm going to put Silver Lakes renters. Click on build mailing campaign. Again, I used for this demonstration, we're going to go ahead and use the PCM digital for this. All right. And then you get to pick on the type of mailer that you're sending out through the mail. You have 4x6, 6x8.5, 6x11, double window letter, full window letter, yellow letter, snap apart. Once you click on the one you want to use, it's going to let you know that you're targeting 212 properties. All right. And then from there, you can select the exact template you want to use, including rentals. All right. And then it's going to give you an overall view before you generate it. And if you want to personalize it and add your information, including your photo, your brokerage's color scheme as well, you have the ability to select where it goes. So what address would you like the letter to go? Owner's address means I'm sending it directly to the owner. But because we're looking at absentee owners, I would want to send it directly to the property address to try to get that renter to make me their agent when they move to that next location. As I go down here, you can use current resident for the individual that lives there. And then once you pick your color and your look and feel, you build it. You can add your photo. You can add your profile picture, your company logo, your name, license number, cell phone number. All right. Any remarks, including consider me when you are looking to move for your next rental. All right. Once you add all of those details, photos, you get to preview it. All right. And then it will give you a price quote here, letting you know the overall cost in order to send those out, guys. All right. That is it for this very first session, guys. I want to thank you so, so much for your time. And at 11 o'clock, we have the next class if you guys want to take that, which is Enhance Your Business with Infographics. Again, this is recorded. You will get a copy of today's recording towards the end of the day. But again, I want